Hello and welcome. It's been about a day or so since I did a video because I've been concentrating on a certain theme that I wanted to talk about. But first off, I'm going to say this is Craggy Brook Witchery. If you're new to the station today, welcome. And if you're a returning visitor, thanks for stopping by. I really appreciate it. Today's video, I'm going to put a shout out as well to a YouTube channeler, and it's under the channel name of Zoe's Tarot Reviews. And if it hadn't been for me watching her videos showing some of her learning decks, I probably wouldn't have jumped down this rabbit hole that I've created here. I'm not sure how it's going to go, but I hope that we can each sort of have some fun. I'm going to share some ideas, and please realize these are only my opinions. You might have a totally different opinion. So I'm going to blame her a little bit in a fun way for creating this mess that I have on my table today. After her video, I began to look through my collection for what I had for tarot decks and books for beginners. And so far I'm centering on the decks that come with books that are in front of you that you see on the table today. Again, it's only my opinion. Please don't jump down my throat with what I want to share. I realize that from my experiences, purchasing a tarot deck is such a very personal thing. Learning tarot is fun, but it can be difficult, and it can seem when you're looking to purchase a deck like you're wading through the good, the bad, and the difficult. Let's just put that out there, because sometimes we see something at a store and we haven't seen a video on it and we don't know how every card looks, but we're willing to, like the fool, jump in and try it. And sometimes it's fantastic and sometimes it's disappointing. So I guess if I was talking to a beginner of tarot learning, then I would ask them, like, what do you gravitate to? Is it symbols or is it full graphics? Is it quality of the cardstock that really makes it or breaks it for you? Do you prefer, if you're aware of it, the Pamela Colman Smith artwork that is seen on the Rider-Waite Smith decks? Have you researched Crowley, Marseille? And that, even that little paragraph there, if I was to say it to a new beginner, it would be very overwhelming. They're looking for something simple, easy, and a clear, concise book that's going to help them learn the cards and get excited about learning the cards, not feel like, oh, I have to follow all these rules, and what if I don't know all this, and I don't know everything about astrology. So what could we bring to them? And I just got the feeling that it was like wading in. And I myself did that the other night with a couple of the decks that you see here. These two. Now, I found out after purchasing, because I didn't have a list at the time of what decks I have at home, that these were both the same tarot decks. The image on this was a little bit deceiving for me because it did show Pamela Colman Smith work and the type of drawings that would be on a Rider-Waite Smith deck, which is this one here. But this is totally different, and I have to just say that I purchased these at a really inexpensive price. They were from a thrift store, so I was willing to be like the fool here and jump in. And it did give me some information, but I must say that until you get the cards in your hands, you don't really realize what you've got. So for instance, it comes in this deck set here. As I say, they've changed the cover. So that one has a tuck box for the cards, whereas this deck here, They fit in one of those plastic trays, and the deck is divided. And if you were to look, for instance, on the back, because if you only saw the front, you'd go, ooh, if you were a Rider-Waite girl or guy. But when you flip it over, this would be a clue that the images here are different. Now, also here, they're not showing the minor arcana. These are images from the majors. So if you're a learner and you're visually challenged, this could be a little bit more visually challenging because the minors are not fully illustrated. And I'll show you that in that this is their Six of Swords. Now, to me, it's what I would call a pip deck, similar to a Marseille deck, and some people really love those systems. I too have some of those decks. But you sort of have to have, I think, some knowledge of numerology or a high intuitive level that you can look at that Six of Swords and get a meaning. And each person's meaning might be different. But if I refer to the book that came with it, and it's, I gotta say, is a hefty size book. And it's well laid out. It's by Evelyn Berger and Joanne Fiebig. Right there you can see. But again, on the front, it's deceiving because you might think you're getting Rider-Waite images. But that's not the case. They do say that they're using information for each card that they've been able to derive from the Waite decks, the Crowley decks, and the Marseille decks. And the bigger box here, this kit, I believe it came out in 1997. And this one is a 2006. And you can probably still get this deck. I know in thrift stores I saw a lot of the cards, not even in their boxes and things anymore. And the publisher of this seems to be stemming from a company called Sterling Ethos. But if I was to, for instance, go back to what I was discussing here, the Six of Swords. Well, if I turn in the book to the page with the Six of Swords, the little title here in green suggests that the card meaning is working to get across the river. I'm an artist. I found that difficult to grasp. If I was thinking of the swords as a person who spent a little bit more time with tarot, and this in-between space represented maybe where I was, I would get the feeling that things were against me. And that's a little bit about what the card is about, because it is a moving away from a difficult situation. I might get the feeling that there's a lot of people directing hurtful statements toward me. But when we look at the information provided in the book, and down below, I had sort of in brackets there, that healthy thoughts are based on properly understanding a situation, just as the man in the boat in the Waite card can move along when his pole makes contact with the ground beneath the water. Okay, bit of a stretch if I haven't seen one of those cards. It would have been nice, I guess, to see on the same page a Six of Swords represented by the Rider-Waite Smith deck, and one by the Crowley and one by the Marseille, just so that I could see the differences. And it says below there in the very first paragraph, on first sight, the Waite card implies a move to another place or changes in the environment. Again, I would need to see that card. And if I'm just new to tarot, would I have each of those decks? Probably not. But then also in the front, if you're into numerology, they at least do give you from 1 to 10 meanings. Now, if I go down here to the bottom of the page, number 6, that 6 in the Six of Swords, I would be thinking, okay, the information here says I have to make a decision, consolidation and changes, and the whole as the result of transcending a difficulty. The whole as an expression of complex contradiction. You know, that would really confuse me. I look at 6 for myself as very simply a healing card. But again, you have to have some knowledge, and some of these paragraphs are kind of difficult to understand. And then, as I was trying to brush up on what new tarot learners might be looking for, when I read through this book, there was an awful lot of sentences with the word must in it. And if there's one thing as an artist or a person of my nature, when someone says I must do something, kind of puts a wall up. It was difficult. I didn't read the whole book cover to cover this time, although I have before. And if we go back to that part right there that I had a page marked with, get that into focus, there we go. If you look at Major Arcana at the top there, the title, and right below it is where I've got the little star there. With every card, you must ask the following. In the past or traditionally, what was the meaning of the situation illustrated? For instance, the Hierophant card. What is the meaning of this traditional figure from the past to today? You can see it there for yourself. I just found it, I hate to say that you must do this and you must do that when you're learning tarot cards. You got to give some people a little bit of freedom. And so I had a difficult time reading through this book, although there is a lot of information. So what I thought I'd do is to put that book aside, and let's go back to looking at just 6 different decks that I brought forward today that we could look at variations of the Six of Swords. So that is the one that goes with the Tarot Basics. Those 2 boxes right there, identical cards. This is what the back looks like. It's fine. The cards aren't fantastic, but it gives you swords down below and it gives you the number. Now, what happens if we go into the Rider-Waite imagery for the Six of Swords? You know, for me, that's just a little bit easier. Looks like somebody's helping them along. They're in a boat, and the swords are in the boat, which could represent the thoughts and the burdens that are weighing heavy upon them. But even just having this person here in the boat with you is a support. And the way that these seem like steps, we're taking steps towards what? Working through probably some of these issues that are at hand. And we are going across the water, but at least I can see I'm moving across the water. And then if we look at, let's pull a couple others, but I'm going to show you the deck boxes, just in case you can look on your shelf, see if you have them, do some comparisons. The one here at the back, that tarot kit is another one for beginners. But what you're getting in there for the Six of Swords is this. Again, another person being ferried over the water, and the swords are there. And there seems to be a wall of them there. So as an artist or as a creative person with vision, and I think almost any person looking at this could come up with some sort of a story because of the illustration and the grayness in the clouds and things like that. So that comes from the tarot kit that you see right back there. And these are universal weight cards that comes in that kit. All right, now if we're going to go on, the one next to it on the back, the left, the Instant Tarot Reader. And that is a husband and wife team, Farber and Zerner, and they produced that with St. Martin's Press. Now if I pull a card there, I'll take these two away. That is the version of the Six of Swords there. And I'll lower this so you can get a better idea. And zoom in for a second. There. So we get the idea of moving over water, at least. And visually we can play with that and come up with an idea. So we've done the Tarot Basics, the Tarot Kit, the Instant Tarot Reader. I don't know if it's instant or not. And then we have this card. And you might recognize this card from the Truth Seekers Tarot. And you can see that David Fontana did the wording, and the art is by Sylvie Degnaud. And it is put out by Watkins, but you can see at least on the front cover there that there is some imagery, and there is one from the minor, and there's a queen there, not just majors being shown, which is really nice, you know? And then you've got some more images on the back, but they're kind of tiny. So that's where having some YouTube stations doing reviews really helps. Now there's a Six of Swords, but it's not on the water. It's nowhere near the water that I can see. So if I go to the book that comes with that kit, they've broken it down in sort of a system from 1 to 10 or aces to 10. So sixes, they're suggesting in this book, is a lucky number. For me, it's a healing number. Okay, I can jive with that. Over here, and it's nice too that you're seeing all the sixes at once in this book, and they are full color. So for the Six of Swords, it's referring to thoughts to symbolize good fortune in a more practical area, creative endeavors for wands, and rational and scientific fields for swords. Scientific experiments can lead to disappointment. Do you react to success and failure, to achievements and setbacks? How? So that didn't say anything about moving over water. So there's another one here I wanted to show you. I'll take that away. And here's another Six of Swords. And you can get the idea there that there is the flow of water, there is the Six of Swords, and that comes from this deck, Harmonious Tarot. And that is put out by La Scarabeo, and I believe that's a copyright of 2005. And Walter Crane did the artwork in this deck. So again, it's completely different, but you're getting an image versus Six Swords. It just makes it a little bit easier, I think, for a learner. And this is what I'm talking about for learners. So we've looked at a variety of cards. And remember that that's the Harmonious Tarot, the Rider-Waite, the Universal, the Truth Seekers. This one is from the Instant Tarot Reader. And this one was the one that we were questioning. So I'm going to take that away for a second. And I wanted to show you, though, that they do have some not too bad major arcanas with the Tarot Basic book. There's your Fool. It's got some of the images that I'd be looking for. So I really don't have a problem so much with the majors in the Tarot Basics deck. I can play with that visually. So you get the idea there. Now the colors, though, are a little bit murky, but everybody's style is different, and I have to keep that in mind. Whereas if you looked at some of the majors in the Truth Seekers, it's very colorful. Okay, can't get them all in the screen there. And then we have our Rider-Waite. I'm going to take it off there, move it back to there. Okay, so you can see that there's a lot of things that are clearly illustrated in the Rider-Waite deck, but not everybody likes the Rider-Waite deck. So if I was suggesting a deck, though, for a beginner, definitely a deck that has a good book with it. This was a great little kit, and that is, if I go back up there, a tarot kit for beginners with the Universal Weight. Now the Instant Tarot Reader over there, it too is a fun deck, and that book is interesting. I'm going to grab it for you and show you. They made it a little easy for us in that, get this open, they're dealing with the Celtic Cross, and they give you a big definition of what each of those positions are. But then as you go through, and you, for instance, would look maybe at the Princess of Wands, wherever she falls, they've got an idea of what the meaning should be throughout the Celtic Cross. And I thought that was an easy way to try to learn both the Celtic Cross and the cards. So I didn't mind that one at all. Stick that one back. And so I'm going to stop for now there. I can do reviews of any of these decks in full if you wish. But this was all about just a beginner. What decks, what images resonate with them. And I know it's all trial and error and they have to find their own way. But it would be nice if some of the books that came with them were easy to read. Lots of images, and if we are going to compare to other decks, please include those images on those pages, just in case we don't have those decks of our own to compare with. And when it's all on one page there with all the information, it just makes it a little bit easier. Let me know your thoughts and ideas. Do you have a particular deck? Or have you found a great book? Because I have 3 books over there I think I'm going to break out in the next video that I found working with this deck, with the Universal Kit deck, anything that had the basic images. Rachel Pollack has a beautiful book, 78 Degrees of Tarot. But again, you've got to find one author that you resonate with. And so I'm going to go through my collection and find some books that I found as a beginner easy to resonate with. I hope you've enjoyed this. I hope it stirred some of your thoughts, and maybe you can go through your collection and put it out there for the learners to help them. So this is Craigie Brook Witchery, and I hope you have a fantastic day. If you like what you see on these videos, please subscribe. But I do love to hear your thoughts. That's how we connect. So have a fun, wonderful day.